bitches, welcome back to my channel. I'm sitting here once again with the love of my life. How you doing?
Never better. I'm doing pretty good today.
Are you?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to not be cold. We have the fan on. I'm like in this bitter fight with myself. I'm like hot and cold at the same time.
I'm trying to get him into the holiday spirit, as you guys can see. The blanket behind
I
us.
love that thing.
The Christmas lights over here. I'm obsessed with these Christmas lights. We got a shit ton of these to go around our like outside porch. I think they look retro. Some people don't think they look retro. I don't know.
They do to me. I love it. When we have them on outside, it feels like I'm at a bar, like a little tiki bar, and I'm having a little drink or something.
Yeah, I don't know why I was holding my hand like this. Ally. I don't know why.
This is my friend Adore, and she's an ally.
So we have finally come to the time where Tana Mojo and Brooke Schofield uploaded the episode of the Cancel Podcast with Jeffree Star.
Yep.
You know, Jeffree's wearing his podcast wig. He is on there, and it has stirred up a lot of controversy. I'm going to do like several videos on this because there's just like so much to unpack from it. We got a little extra tea and I wasn't really expecting the extra stuff. I thought we were going to get the same song and dance about James, the same thing he's going to say about Tati, Dramageddon 2. I didn't think he was going to like sprinkle in like more details.
We had to shake it up a little bit. He had to give us more to want us to listen to the same story for the 157th time.
The people over on Twitter and in that comment section would have been like so obsessed with the fact that he was just talking about Dramageddon and James Charles and Tati Westbrook.
There's literally only so many ways you can tell a story before you get bored of it. I'm so tired of it. Unless you're going to give me something new, I don't even want to hear it. Yeah. But I'm glad he did give us some new shit and sprinkle some stuff in there.
Well, he talked about Gypsy Rose because remember when she got out of the Slammer, people wanted her to collaborate with Jeffree Star and Jeffree Star Cosmetics because Jeffree is kind of obsessed with murderers. I mean, he has like all the tattoos and like beauty killer, like that kind of thing. And Jeffree kind of played into it over on TikTok. He went live with her and they kind of like joked around about it, threw like a little shade at some people, like that kind of thing. So apparently Gypsy was like really hinting on this live stream that she kind of like wanted to do it, but she was like really learning social media at the time as well. People started sending her clips of Jeffree Star and like his past because she was in the jokey. She didn't know anything that was going on with Jeffree Star. So she apparently blocked him and wanted nothing to do with Jeffree Star after the fact. And he said that he was not going to do a collab with her anyways because he's not going to collaborate with a murderer.
Gypsy Rose went live with me.
Tell now. Did she battle you?
No, we just had a good conversation. People kept being like, she wants to collab, and I'm like, Jeffree Star Cosmetics is not collabing with a murderer. We're not doing it this year.
I need like a list of iconic things you say on today's episode. And that's one. I want her on Canceled regardless so bad. But
So here's my issue. I'm very sarcastic and I battle and I'm live all the time. I say really crazy funny jokes. I should have been a comedian, right? So we go live together. We have a good time. I'm not gonna collab with her. She's like, I don't know if she's hinting at it, but like, and she's also learning TikTok. And imagine you're in prison for so long and the phone is so new.
Oh my God.
It's like, it must be such a trip.
Could you imagine what that even feels like?
Yes. Yeah. So my issue is that she thought I was all great. And then a couple weeks later, someone sends her a clip of a joke I made. Unfollow. She can't handle the humor.
Boring.
Yeah, I was talking to her on FaceTime and I was like, slay, mother. And I was like, wait.
But also, like the YouTube drama era, the lie is always more entertaining than the truth.
I mean,
She doesn't identify as that, though. She said she doesn't identify as that.
She don't have to identify.
It's always respect something.
Listen,
until it's Gypsy Rose.
You don't have to identify for something for you to be that thing that you don't identify as, because Gypsy Rose, you can lay down at night and think you're not a murderer, but girl, you slayed your mother. You are a murderer.
When Tana was talking about how she interacted with Gypsy, because she did a live stream with her as well over on TikTok, she was like, yeah, slay mother. And she just had to like stop real quick and be like, ooh.
See, it's
thank God it wasn't in person, girl. Thank God.
That very reason right there is why I can't write Tana off all the way. She's funny. She's so funny. She laughs at the most inappropriate shit. She makes the most inappropriate jokes, and she fucks up sometimes, but her humor sometimes brings her back for me. Do you want to know what I think the collab between Gypsy Rose and Jeffree Star would be like? What? When he collabed with Laura Lee. Yeah. Because they have about the same amount of brain cells. I can't stand either one of them.
Remember when Jeffree Star and Laura Lee did that video where they were doing the brush cleaner and she up like one of his really expensive brushes,
dipping that thing?
It just seems like an awful time.
Yeah.
So something that I noticed down in the comment section of the Cancel Podcast, there are a lot of people that are upset with Tana and Brooke because they feel like they kept cutting Jeffree off and not really letting him answer any questions. When we were watching it, I was saying, I'm like, Tana will not shut the fuck up. Like every time Jeffree goes to answer something, she's like right there to say like a whole novel. Brooke, I kind of got like a weird vibe between Brooke and Jeffree. I don't know exactly like what that's about. I feel like Jeffree really does not care for her. Yeah. I don't know. I felt like there was like weird energy. Did anybody else get that from watching the podcast?
I've talked to Jeffree Star several times on the phone, and
how lovely for you.
I know, right? But I know him enough to gauge if he likes someone or not. He don't like Brooke. You can tell when he talks about her, like the way his eyes, like he squints when he talks about her, like he don't like her.
Well, he was doing a live stream over on TikTok after the podcast came out, and he was like actually watching it, and he was kind of like throwing shade at Brooke as well as Tana about not shutting the fuck up when he was going to go answer a question. He found it kind of annoying. Something that I wish that Jeffree would have like turned around and asked Tana back, because obviously they did talk about James Charles, Tati, and all of that. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of talk about James Charles' inappropriate behavior. Why did Jeffree not turn around and ask? And if he did, and I missed it, let me know down in the comment section. He should have said, Tana, you're asking me this, but why did you turn around and become friends with James Charles again after telling the whole world, all of social media, that James Charles was literally a danger to children?
Mm-hmm. Tana has even said out of her own mouth, verbatim, that James Charles hurts kids. Mm-hmm. And then she befriended him. Yeah. Not once, but twice.
She befriended him again, let's not forget, because they were always out at events and she would see him. And so instead of just going the other way or being like, hey, leave me the fuck alone, because I feel like maybe they both would understand, like, we should just go separate ways. I don't know. Instead of saying that, she said it would be easier to befriend him again so I can just be friendly at events so it's not awkward.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Tana is so questionable. She is,
but
like,
she's funny.
She is funny. That's
funny.
What. I don't know. Like, Tana is a
she's done all these horrible things, but she's funny.
She is. Yeah. I mean, look at Trisha. Yeah. Trisha's no different. She's done a lot of crazy shit too. I want to get back to your point about them not letting him speak. Mm-hmm. They asked him all these questions, and it was like he could get out a few things, and then Tana would be like this, and then Brooke would kind of like chime in. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to have somebody on your podcast and you're going to sit down with them and ask them questions, at least allow them to speak. That was my biggest complaint about Manny and Laura when they had Jacqueline on the podcast, or hell, anybody on that podcast. They want to speak and overspeak people when the floor should be given to the people that they have as guests that they want the answers to their questions from. If it's not just Tana and Brooke, that podcast sucks, in my opinion. They do not know how to interview people.
I feel like they do better when it's Trisha on there. Yeah. Because I feel like they're like actually friends with Trisha, so it's a better like banter between each other. I feel like they're both very nervous around Jeffree Star. Mm-hmm. I feel like you could get that when they were on their live stream and Jeffree came downstairs and he was doing his TikTok. Mm-hmm. Something that they talked about was like the TikTok grift, because obviously they brought up Jason Nash and how Tana throws shade at him. Jeffree Star says that he is not a panhandler because he's actually like an e-commerce over on TikTok, so he's selling for his business, but he's also like tipping like so much back into it. Like Jeffree does, I mean, y'all can throw shade at Jeffree, you can say he's a horrible person, I totally understand it, but Jeffree does throw a lot of money at like smaller creators over there, because I will just be in a random ass live stream and it'll pop up like right on the screen, and the person will have like 12 people watching, and the person of course is fucking elated about it. So I mean, Jason Nash isn't doing that.
Hell no. He ain't got it to do it like that.
So I do live stream on TikTok now. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, okay,
because I be scrolling a lot and I see a lot of people hating on other creators. Me. So
yeah. Jeffree, I got to put this out on the record.
Let's hear it, bitch. Come on.
Okay. Apologize.
Here's what I'm going to say. Okay. It is, and I stand on this, seeing Jason Nash panhandle was maybe one of the highlights of my year. Hilarious. The trajectory of the, cheers to the fall of the Dobrik alumni, right?
Yeah. It is wild as a viewer to see someone that was so far up David's ass just sit on TikTok in their kitchen.
Yes. And, obviously like...
Hi.
Yeah. And it's all insane, and I stand on that, and I just see so many people who have like flocked now resorting to that. Yeah. But then I open my For You page, and there's Miss Jeffree Lynn in a battle with 4 people in Middle America.
Yep. So clearly there's something we're missing, and I need to know what it is.
And I'm like, wait, because now I'm like, did I go too far against this? Because if you're doing it. If you're doing it,
some people are going to start
am I missing out on a business opportunity? Like suddenly I want a galaxy.
So let's deep dive into it real fast.
Yes.
Why do you think, before answering any questions about me, why do you think people are so triggered by Jason and make a joke of it? I feel neither way. I think it's funny. It doesn't matter. There's 60-year-olds that cook on live stream and they're making a lot of money. I think,
and that feels wholesome to me. That's no longer funny.
But I'm gonna answer a question. Even though I asked her the question, I'm gonna answer it. So only child and Scorpio.
No, I love it. And
80% sociopath.
And save me from answering I love 80%.
80%, yeah.
I'm like 20, 30, 40.
So the problem is he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you're cooking, it's one thing.
You're begging children to swipe their parents' cards.
And they are children.
And all of the things that he's done wrong over the years.
It's like you do legally have to be 18 or up to gift.
Really?
Rats.
You do. Whether, yes.
Can they tell though?
No. Well,
I've been 18 since like 11 on like MySpace.
I can't breathe. But I think the problem is I am an internet dinosaur. So my logic, because people are, majority people get it. Because I am an e-commerce store. So my TikTok page, minus all the fun lip syncs and makeup reviews, I am a e-commerce store, right? So when I go live, a lot of the times, I am selling products for hours. QVC is what our parents used to watch when we were little kids. They'd turn it on. There's some old lady showing off a diamond bracelet for $79.99.
Absolutely,
and or the face cream and the Mary Kay and all that. So now it's TikTok. And if anyone's making fun of me, they're fool, because this is the future of beauty.
100%.
So, but we'll get into the battling and what else the app has to offer. Yes, but at the core of what I do, if people don't know, because there's new people that are gonna watch that maybe don't know who I am.
Everyone knows who you are.
TikTok is. I was trying to be modest.
No humility here.
But like, it's really. People are there. 3 million people go live a day, and there's millions and millions of people. Yeah, whether they have 1 viewer or 10,000, that app is booming, and they make so much money off these creators. But we are a store, so when I'm live selling, whether I'm with a co-host or I'm by myself, people are ordering. I give really crazy discounts that you're never going to see on my site.
I was in there last
on
night.
Instagram.
I was like, he's handing out free palettes.
Yes, buy a palette, get a palette free, and it's only for that 5-hour moment, one time a week. You gotta be there or you're not gonna get it. And there's a lot of people that don't even watch my TikToks, don't know we do deals. So it's a niche market, but it's massive. The money is there. It's huge. We sell products. We are the number 1 or 2 beauty store. This week, number 1 again.
Yay.
On the number 1 app in the world. I'm so proud of it.
At the end of the day, you make the best makeup.
So then let's switch to, I'm also an internet character. I've been around for a long time. I want to learn everything, just like the YouTube and the beauty world. I immersed myself and I took that bitch over. So I'm like, okay, what are the daily ranks? What are people doing? People will do 6-hour face paint on TikTok. They'll battle for 12 hours. I have a friend.
What is a battle? Should have asked that before I
I don't know
Jason
if I
Nash.
completely understand.
So yes, so I live for you.
So uninformed.
So when people, I don't get called a panhandler because I'm a real business and I show people how to make money on the app, and it's really great. You can really make a really good income, right? My friend's mom cooks all day, and she makes money just cooking. And instead of working, as an insurance agent, she now makes way more money, 5 times the amount per month. People are watching her cook and gifting and engaging with her, and her chat really loves her, and people really engage and they come view you every day. I probably go live 4 or 5 times a week. People look forward to it. It's entertaining. What do I do on live? I'll make bacon in the morning and make $50,000.
You're so fucking entertaining.
Really?
There's money there. Yes.
$50,000.
Like as
$50,000 alive.
Well, so
that's why I'm gonna say, whether people want to say I don't get called a panhandler. I think that the problem,
You're not giving panhandling.
I think if we were to do it, we might be panhandling because we don't have a business. That we're not driving people to buy from our business the way that he is. You know what I mean? So it's like if we were to do it, we're not making $50,000. Well,
but
are you making that in sales or in gifting?
Both.
Oh,
it depends. So there's some times where I don't know. No. There's some times where I don't sell it all, and I'll just make bacon in my kitchen, in my bathrobe, in my little slippers, Mink Louie. We'll just hang out and I'll just chat and I'll do a Q&A and I'll just talk about my Vegas trip and what I did and and people will gift and support. But I'm also known as one of the biggest gifters on the app. So if you deep dive and open up the live, everyone has a gifter badge number by their name. So we all know I give back, and I've been giving back since the day I was blessed to ever have $1, right? So I support small creators. I'll go in and I'll drop $5,000 on someone that's sleeping in their car on live. And I love to give back, right?
You always have.
Always. So the battling world is really interesting. So what I'm getting at is I can cook bacon. I can do so I also do my makeup reviews live. So all the TikToks you see, I film those live.
These brands, I just know they're shaking.
Oh, Imagine. They do. I tag them every time.
The Milani CEO has
they
their
sit
asshole
there.
clenched.
Yes, no, they do.
Yes.
Yeah. They sit there. I was reviewing Rare Beauty last month. Selena Gomez came in the chat and she sent me her first ever gifts. I was like, it was sickening. Yeah, it was sick, bitch.
She's slamming the credit card like, please love my blood.
So what I do now is YouTube days, right? I would go film for a couple hours. Christian would have to drive home, edit it, show me a preview, upload the YouTube video, do the thumbnail, do the description. Girl, we're in a different fucking time now. No one's attention spans are like that, right? So I just filmed a video and I'll do it live. So I'm live streaming on the iPad, filming it on my phone. And I'll just be like, trying new rare beauty powder. Girl, they're all glued to the screen like, oh my God, is he going to hate us?
Yeah.
And it's really engaging, and people gift while I'm sitting there. And I've made myself a part of the daily ranks now. Me and Soulja Boy are the only celebrities on there, and he makes a
What's
killing.
Soulja Boy doing?
Killing it, making money like
good.
Miss Lynn. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be live on
It's
TikTok
so
tomorrow.
fun. But you have the personality. A lot of people make no money and they sit there all day and they just kind of don't do anything, and they have like 10 viewers. And
I
just
that's me. I'm gonna try harder.
I can't.
I'm gonna try harder. I
clicked that, but you have to be in the mood, like you're entertaining. And
Yeah.
it's, one of my friends, she makes, 6 figures a month, and that's her entire job is battling and being a makeup artist.
I want to talk about your point about Tana and Brooke being afraid of Jeffree. They are probably afraid of Jeffree because he ain't like none of them other bitches that they fuck around with and have on their podcast and talk about. Jeffree Star will call them out, and they know that. And that's why I think eventually either Tana's going to say something about Jeffree or Jeffree's going to say something about Tana, and one of them is going to pop off, or somebody in the background.
It's gonna be Brooke.
And it's going to be a mess. I do not think that Jeffree Star likes Brooke. You can tell.
I don't think so either.
And I'm telling you, it's very strange to watch. Yeah. It's weird to watch. There's going to be some more coming out of that.
Well, there were also some things that are being labeled as very problematic that were said during this podcast, especially about Tati Westbrook. There was a part where Jeffree said that she was a dumb see you next Tuesday, and then basically paraphrasing, like, here's some attention before you die, you old witch. Like, not a very nice thing to say. I will go over that in another video because there's a lot to say about the Tati part of the podcast, I feel like.
One of the last times that I spoke to Jeffree, he literally told me that if Tati ever mentioned his name again, that he would sue the out of her and sue her into oblivion. She did.
She went on Michelle Phan's podcast.
Well, here's Jeffree on Canceled talking about her.
I truly believe in my heart of hearts, y'all, that Jeffree is going on the Canceled podcast as well as just Trish because Tati did that Michelle Phan podcast. And he said, you know what? Nobody's paying attention to the Michelle Phan one. Nobody really even knew that she had one. I'm sorry. But also, I'm going to go on literally 2 of the biggest influencer podcasts right now, and I'm going to talk about you again. He did defend her a little bit, but I remember the other week when Trisha was talking about having Jeffree Star on the podcast, a lot of people in the comment section were worried, like, Trisha, this could be like really bad for you because people are going to start to bring up other shit, the Trishies, Fishies, or whatever they were over on Reddit. Yeah, those people are going to start coming even harder for you because of Jeffree Star and how problematic he is. It looks like that's happening for Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield because they have a lot of stuff that's from their past getting drawn up on TikTok right now, and people are making videos about it. And Brooke is probably like, holy shit, I just got out of this situation. Why is this happening? It probably is. But I remember Trisha on her podcast kind of talking about how she was a little nervous about what the audience reaction was going to be. Is it going to split people like down the middle? People are going to be upset. Is she going to lose people? That kind of thing. But there are also people out there that are thinking this is going to actually be really good for Trisha because it's going to be like a healing moment for her after the situation that she had, obviously, with the falling out with Jeffree, Hair by Jay, all of those people.
Sweetie.
Not kidding, Trisha. So you and Trisha have had, and you know, I love Trisha. I love Trisha. The people I have made it out of that time with you, Trisha, it's a beautiful bond that you cannot recreate, right? Yeah. And you guys have had a roller coaster of a friendship.
Haven't seen her in almost 5 years.
And you're about to.
Yeah, we're about to have a reunion.
I'm going to put this out later because I'm not trying to compete with that moment. But, or maybe before, who knows?
Yeah.
This could be like
the build up. But yeah, we haven't seen each other in a long time. I think a lot of her new fans think I'm the devil. Love that. But the OG fans that watched both of us knew that at the heart of it all, there was really no drama. It was just a lot of speculation and other people chiming in, and just a lot of ugliness. But we had the best times together. I rewatched some of our old clips. Oh my god,
so
they're
iconic.
Like ours. They're so
I can
iconic.
see you guys with the damn pink Bentley right now. I can
and us through the drive-thru at Taco Bell. Her sticking her head out the window, screaming, like so good.
I'm excited as to just see you guys together.
Here's something really crazy. I haven't had Taco Bell in 4 years.
What?
Yeah, I don't eat fast food anymore.
I think that it's probably going to bring up more drama rather than not.
Yeah.
That's just my own personal opinion. Judging from the comment section on the Canceled podcast and seeing how people are talking about it over on TikTok, I don't think it's going the way that they thought it was going to go.
Yeah. Well, here's what I think about this situation, right? I don't think initially it's going to cause a problem for Trisha. I think it'll, bring them together like you just said. But what's going to happen is Jeffree Star is going to say something offensive, and then people are going to start demanding Trisha to make a statement about it. They're going to tie them all together. It'll be up to them how that situation goes. If I were them, I would just let it go. But inevitably that's going to happen because that's what the internet does. Yeah. They're going to tie Trisha in with Jeffree, and if he does something bad, she's going to be a part of that, unfortunately.
Brooke and Tana did have a little collab with Jeffree Star that got the internet ablaze. It kind of shook me too. I was like, what is going on here?
I'm shook too. I'm very shook about it. I was shook about it for a number of reasons, but go on. Yeah.
I'm sure you were. But it was quite interesting. And okay, so if you guys didn't know, Brooke and Tana, I guess they're doing a lot of guests right now, so they're recording a lot of interviews for Canceled, and they had Jeffree Star on, and for some reason, they decided to do a Patreon Live after filming their episode with Jeffree Star, which in and of itself is a production issue. Like, if we're running, hey, you guys, we're going to do a Patreon Live after we shoot Jeffree's interview, and he's just, like, sitting around, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, you think? Oh, and because I don't really know how it went down either. You think in your mind it's like this, like we just finished filming, and then like they're like, oh, just hang around if you want, and we'll do Patreon, or do you think it was more like, oh, we're filming Patreon, come with us?
I think it was that. Yes, I do think he was supposed to be involved in it, but I guess there were a lot of comments on the Patreon. Like Jeffree says that people were being mean to him in the comments on the Patreon Canceled live stream, and then Jeffree started his own TikTok live where he was in the same room as they were filming a live Q&A.
Oh my! This is so good. I feel like we're on like Sally Jesse Raphael or Mari. No.
Wendy, what's that?
Right.
So Jeffree decided to go on TikTok live because he hadn't been on live all day, mind you. He had not been on live all day.
I gotta go.
Yes, he has not talked to his... He hadn't talked to his people all day, you guys. So he had to go on TikTok live. Yeah. So then it was kind of a battle of the lives because Jeffree is going live on TikTok. And then people who paid the Patreon subscription for Canceled to see Tana and Brooke live were getting upset because they're like, okay, why are we paying a monthly fee for a live stream if we can go to Jeffree's TikTok and do it live?
That's what the comments were saying?
Yes. And then people went to Jeffree's TikTok, like Patreon members, flooded Jeffree's TikTok and being like, we're upset with him, leaving him mean comments on his actual TikTok. Mind you, they're in the same apartment. They're in Brooke's living room.
But they're both on live stream.
Both on live streams, yes. And it just got kind of a little awkward because you can kind of hear Tana and Brooke being like, well, can you please like turn your TikTok live stream off? Because they paid for it. But they're like, no, but we live for your lives. We love your lives. But they're just upset because they paid for this. So, and then Jeffree ended up going on, staying on live, but he did go out to Brooke's balcony. But
I would feel awkward to tell Jeffree Star anything. I'd be like, it's fine, just do whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that's
what I'm saying. I think again, not to be shady at all, but I think when you're booking the production day and Jeffree Star is booked right before the live stream.
Yeah.
No, like let's rework things a little bit.
I think that's gonna be us on Friday. Jeffree's booked before our Patreon on Friday, so it might run into that. Oscar shows up and I'm like, Jeffree's live on TikTok. That's where I was concerned. All of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. So we have Jeffree. I'm kind of glad it happened before. Is it up today, the Jeffree episode?
I actually don't know because they booked a few. They've booked a few interviews. Yeah. This is the first one they've actually like promoted a lot. I think, right?
Right, because it's like a big deal. And so it was like, oh, okay. Like, and I knew Tana was here Sunday, so I knew she said Jeffree because she's like, oh, is he coming on Friday? I said, yeah. She's like, oh, he's coming on ours tomorrow. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw this happen. I was like, oh, thank God, I have some more stuff to talk about for our interview. You know what I mean? There's a lot to cover, but I was like, this is like in addition to now, so that's like really great. It's like, oh, we're gonna cover the same topics, which is fine. We have different interview styles, but I just thought it was like, oh man, that's gonna be the same topics. And then I was like, we got this one. We can have the aftermath of what went down.
It was interesting. Yeah, it definitely was interesting for sure.
I just saw clips of it. I wish I could have seen the whole thing. That's kind of so. Did he shut off the live? Or he's like, I'm just going to go live.
He stayed live. Yeah, he just went outside and then he came back in once they were kind of done filming their Patreon like live Q&A.
I'd have to think it would be planned. I would think, but I don't know. We could ask for a statement.
Yeah, you might have to get a statement from Jeffree
live in person. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I think Jeffree they all probably live because at the end of the day, I feel like it's an awkward situation. But if something like awkward happened here, like thank God, I hope it doesn't. First of all, I really hope it doesn't. But I mean, it's kind of like they got a lot of publicity. Like I heard everyone talking about it.
It was a big headline this week. Yeah.
So I feel like they should go put out the episode now. Yeah. Although when Tana was here, she's like, "We'll wait till your episode." But I was like, "Oh, it might be like a week before I put it out." So I don't know. I'm just like, just put it out. I'm sure we asked very different questions, and honestly, we're all kind of like,
yeah. And your experience with Jeffree is very different. You have a lot of other things to talk about as well.
She said they talked talked about the Vegas trip, and I was like, oh, okay, tea. Yeah. But I have some input on that too.
Yes.
So.
Well, may the odds be ever in your favor on Friday. I'll say that. Yeah, we'll say that.
I know the comments are scaring me. I was feeling really good. I talked to Jeffree on the phone for like an hour, and I was feeling good because, like Jeffree like apologized to me like on the phone again. Like what we said in Hot Topics was true. Is like he's like one of the only people who's ever like actually apologized to me, and like I feel like we always talk about this. Like I'm the one apologizing to everyone. So Jeffree not only apologized to me during the Vegas thing after it happened, but he also apologized on the phone again, and he just like seemed like a very different Jeffree. Now seeing all this, I was like, oh my god, drama, but I'm here for a little drama. Don't worry, everyone. I did see comments saying, oh my god, I'm worried about Trish because she's in her healing and peaceful era. I'm still going to be in my healing peaceful era. You know what I mean? I feel like it's all good. Everything's fine. And I do think energies are so different. I do think Brooke and Tana's energy,
I agree with
love them, but I think very different energy than the Just Trish.
I agree with that.
How would y'all honestly feel if James Charles went on the Just Trish podcast? I could see him going on the canceled podcast because we talked about it earlier that Tana and him are once again friends. I don't know what the current update is. There hasn't been anything said like that. What would you think if James Charles showed up on the Just Trish podcast? Would you be pissed? Would you unsubscribe, or would you be there for it? Because James hasn't said anything.
It would depend.
Nobody wants to hear from him. What am I even talking about? Nobody wants to hear from him.
Honestly, it would depend on what context he was there. Would it be him?
Lie.
No, obviously he's going to lie, but in what context? Would it be like a very serious thing where Trisha gets to ask him hard-hitting questions? I don't know how that would be. She wouldn't, but that's what they would try to do. Would it be something like that? Now, I would be there for Oscar maybe because I feel like Oscar would have some really good questions, but it's never going to be that. He's never going to, it's not going to be addressed in a way that I think would be good for Trisha's podcast. I don't think she'll have him on there.
I guess only time will tell for the reaction with Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star in this podcast. Do you think that she's going to like wait a little bit to put it out because of the reaction to the canceled podcast? Or do you think that they're just like eating it up? And like Tana and Brooke right now are like, yeah.
I think they think all attention is good attention. Yeah. They're probably reveling in it, and good for them. It'll probably boost them for a while, but like I said, it'll come back to haunt them later. It always does.
So with all that said, everyone, that is it for this video. We hope that you did enjoy it. I'm not going to ask for an emoji this time, but I do have a question. I want to know what kind of lights you prefer for Christmas decorations. Do you like warm white? Do you like bright-ass white? I can't do bright white. I can do the warm white, but I actually prefer multicolor.
Yeah.
So which of the three do you prefer?
I grew up in a multicolor home. I like white too. White looks very classy, but like the colorful lights like that just brings the nostalgia for me.
It just makes you feel good, right? So with that said, we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.